Now, we told you it was going to be a fast-moving evening of news, and just as that report by Sam Coates was playing, we have had confirmation from no other than the Home Secretary, James Cleverly, in the House of Commons, that Robert Jenrick, Immigration Minister, his number two, has resigned. So we have that officially confirmed now by the Home Secretary, James Cleverly, that the Immigration Minister, Robert Jenrick, has resigned on the very day that the bill he's been trying to shepherd, he's been trying to create, the Rwanda bill, has been published in its draft form to MPs. Now, I have to say, it felt to me, really since this morning, that this was going to be one of those significant days for Rishi Sunak's premiership. Not only that, but on the date of the next election. Forget the idea of letters of no confidence going in. The big problem is whether or not Rishi Sunak has a party that he cannot govern, that he cannot get legislation through. Already this week, two big rebellions on completely disparate issues, on vehicle emissions, for example, and on the contaminated blood bill. And now a bill that the very own minister can't get through the House of decided that he can't get through the House of Commons, that he is resigning over. It feels to me as if the odds on a spring election have rocketed up this evening. Now, I had been expecting to speak to the Home Office Minister, Laura Farris, right now, but we have been told that she now no longer has time in her diary for that interview. In the last few minutes, though, I did speak to Danny Kruger. He is a leading light on the right of the party to get his reaction to the plans. I should say I did this interview just before the confirmation of Robert Jenrick's resignation. You'll understand what I mean when you listen. Thank you so much for being on the programme tonight. First things first, what do you make of the Rwanda bill published today?
Well, it was only published an hour or two ago, so I haven't been able to make a considered view yet, and I'm going to be working with colleagues and with legal advisors on that in the coming days. But I'm encouraged by the headlines. I think it's really important that the government has asserted in absolutely unequivocal terms that the law of Parliament is sovereign, that no international treaties or previous laws or conventions can trump a parliamentary statute, and that is the essential principle that we need to assert. They're also making clear through the new treaty with Rwanda that people who are removed there will not be removed on to other countries, which of course was the concern in the Supreme Court. So I'm encouraged by what we've heard so far, but we need to look closely at the detail.
It's not exactly encouraging, is it, that we're understanding that the Immigration Minister, the guy who's fronted this bill, who's been on the studios defending it, Robert Jenrick, is resigning?
It's not good. I've only just heard this, and I haven't yet seen the reasons that Robert's given, but I am concerned about that because he's been an excellent immigration minister. He's been championing in government and in cabinet for the tough measure that I think we need.
I mean, he's not convinced by the bill. He's not convinced by the bill.
Well, exactly. So we need. No. Well, I haven't yet heard what his reasons are. I need to understand what it is that he objects to, and as I say, I need to look closely at it myself, as do the colleagues that I work with. So it's too soon to make a definitive judgment on the bill. I agree it's very concerning and unfortunate that the immigration minister, who I have great respect for, has chosen to leave government today. That's a bad sign, but as I say, I need to look closely at the bill to understand whether I think it'll work.
You say that one of the things that you're encouraged by is that the bill deals with one of the Supreme Court's concerns was that people could be returned to their country of origin. But does this not lead to quite an extraordinary circumstance where if you're a successful asylum seeker, then you stay in Rwanda? If you're unsuccessful, then you come back to the UK?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, the treaty actually allows everybody who goes to Rwanda to be settled there. So I don't expect that we'll be receiving many people back. So the arrangement is that Rwanda is happy to receive the people who come illegally to the UK and to make a new life in Rwanda, whether they're there as asylum seekers or not. But the most important thing, Sophie, if I can emphasise, and this is the crucial point about this, people do not want to be sent off to Rwanda. They're trying to get to the UK, and I understand why that should be, but I'm afraid we won't have them. So what needs to happen is that people who do arrive here illegally are swiftly detained and swiftly removed. That will have an enormous deterrent effect, as we've seen with other schemes which have caused the flow of migrants, illegal migrants from, for instance, Albania, to dry up to almost nothing because we started removing Albanians straight back to their own country. So deterrence works. If people understand that they're going to be shipped off to Rwanda if they arrive here illegally, then they will stop coming. That is the purpose of this. It's not to outsource all, tens of thousands of people a year to Rwanda. It's to stop people crossing the English Channel and to try and get to this country illegally.
There's another potentially big problem with it, and that's the Rwandans getting cold feet themselves. The government of Rwanda putting out a statement this evening to say it's always been important to both Rwanda and the UK to act lawfully. Without lawful behaviour by the UK, Rwanda would not be able to continue with the migration and economic development partnership. It sounds an awful lot like they're worried about the UK government breaking the law, and that they're basically saying if that happens, then they'll pull out.
Well, what I detect there is an agreement on the part of the Rwandan government to support the UK government in making the case for this bill, and I respect that. But the fact is, this will be lawful. That's the definition of the rule of law in the United Kingdom, is that Parliament is sovereign and acts of Parliament have supremacy, and therefore the rule of law is conformed with when Parliament passes a bill. So, of course, it will comply with the rule of law. It will also, in our view, comply with international law, with the European Convention. So, but the question is, if the European Court decides it doesn't, what do we do about that? And the bill, I'm glad to say, asserts that we will make our own judgment, because we are not going to be bound by international legal rulings if the sovereign parliament of the UK has spoken. So I'm not concerned by what the Rwandan government has said. I understand it, and I'm confident that we will comply with the rule of law, because that's the premise of a parliamentary statute.
Just finally, Rishi Sunak has made this the defining issue of his premiership in many ways. If he can't get this right, if he can't bring his backbenchers with him, if it doesn't work, is it over for him?
Listen, I am really confident that the party will be able to come together in the right place. It's really, really difficult. I have great respect for why people are worried about apparent breaches of international law. They want us to maintain our good reputation abroad. I think we can and will do that by passing an act of Parliament which asserts the legality of what we're doing. I think the Conservative Party will come together in the right place on this. It's absolutely essential that we do unite and go into the next election as one party on one platform. I think we need to get into the right place so that we can fight an election as a united party, and that place is where the country wants us to be, where the public is, wanting control of our borders, wanting to stop the boats. And that's what the government's committed to doing. That's what all my colleagues want to do, and I'm hopeful that we'll get there.
OK, I know you've got to go and vote, so I'm going to let you go and do that. Thank you very much for making time for us this evening.
Thank you.